Welcome back, local reviewers. This is Community Chat, the segment where you get the chance to voice your views that you're concerned about. Today we're joined with Dagmar Noll, who's running for Registrar of Voters in Windham, Connecticut. Dagmar, you've been in a lot of our videos. It's a pleasure to have you on. Why did you get into politics in the first place?
Well, I come from a very political family. My grandfather was a selectman in Eastford for many years, and my other grandfather was on the Board of Ed. They were very active in politics, so I grew up thinking that was pretty normal. And my grandmother was actually a Registrar of Voters for over a decade.
Really?
So I thought it was very normal to be involved in politics, but I didn't personally get involved until Senator Sanders' campaign, where I was very inspired by his example that he set of how to both be an elected official and listen to people and be very grounded in an ideology.
I didn't know about your family history. That's really interesting to hear. Now tell me a little bit more about the Registrar of Voters itself. Why are you interested in this office? It seems kind of like a bland office, Registrar of Voters. I register people. What is your particular interest here?
Actually, it's very exciting because in order to have a strong democracy, we have to have a strong electorate. And in order for us to have a strong electorate, we need good data quality, and we need folks who are engaged in the political process, who are voting, who are going to meetings, etc. So as I mentioned, my grandmother was a registrar for many years, so I think it's normal to want to be a registrar of voters, and I understand how important it is for the folks to be voting and be engaged.
What are some of the issues, particularly with third parties, have in becoming a registrar of voters? Can you explain a little bit about that process?
Sure.
It's not a fair process, in my opinion.
Sure, Shane. In Connecticut, it's different in different states, but in Connecticut, the two major parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, actually have a registrar in every town automatically. It's a state law that they have a registrar of voters because they are the two parties.
They're guaranteed.
They're guaranteed. They're guaranteed. If they only voted for themselves, they would still get in office. So any third party registrar has to become in either first or second in the race in their town, and then the Democrat and the Republican win anyway, but you get to be a third registrar. So I'm actually hoping to be a third registrar for the voters in Windham.
I knew about that process beforehand, and I really, really dislike it. It seems so unfair. The Democrats, they can't lose. Your candidate can't lose. I mean, what do you think that has as an effect on voters when they see that? When they go into office and go, my vote doesn't really count. If these people automatically get into office, am I left out of the political process if I have different views than them?
Well, actually, the registrar, while the registrars are representatives of their parties, they are required to register all folks to vote, and our registrars are very fair people and ethical people, and they
But in theory, that could not be the case. You could have a registrar where they might be a little friendlier to Republican petitions or things that involve their party as opposed to third parties.
Well, we would sure hope not, but the whole idea behind having a Democrat and a Republican, what the law actually is that it's whoever the two parties with the largest number of voters registered in those parties automatically.
Okay.
So they get a registrar. So the idea is that it's checks and balances kind of system. But when you have 45% of the electorate in Windham and in fact across the state who are unaffiliated or third party, that's almost half of the electorate that is outside of that two-party system. And those are the folks that want representation right now. There's a huge desire for representation outside of the two-party system, and that's what I want to bring to Windham Town Hall.
You're hoping to fill that gap. You're hoping the gap that's there. Is there anything else you want to say, or is there any other places where we can contact you, get in touch with you, learn more about Dagmar?
Sure. Folks can visit my website at www.dagmarnoll.org. I'm also on Facebook at dagmar.noll.us if you put facebook.com and then add that at the end. And I'm on Twitter at Dagmar Noll.
You are all hooked up with the social media.
Yeah.
Well, Dagmar, it's been fantastic to have you on Community Chat. We might have you back again. There's so many issues we could talk about. And I just want to thank you personally for appearing in so many of these videos, because we're always looking for content in local liberty, and sometimes it's hard to schedule people. So thanks for showing up today, Dagmar. I've been Shane Goodrich, and this has been Community Chat with Local Liberty. Have a nice day, folks.